Hey, I know I should be ashamed of this, but here's how my secret affair with my ex started. I'm happily married, but somehow, keeping my ex around felt like I had won the world. You probably know the feeling. Anyways, I'll tell you how this started and don't judge me, okay? The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a warm glow over the bustling campus of the university where Rose and I had first met. The air buzzed with the chatter of students, laughter ringing out as they raced to make it to their next class. I stood at the edge of the quad, watching the scene play out like a movie I once starred in. The scene where everything was perfect and the future looked bright. Hey, you coming to the library, or what? Rose called out, her voice cutting through the noise, tugging me back to reality. She was the kind of girl who lit up a room, with her messy hair tied in a bun and those oversized glasses perched on her nose. I could see the determination in her eyes as she juggled her books, ready to dive into another round of studying. Yeah, I'm on my way, I replied, waving her over. I'd been lucky to be with her, to share those late-night study sessions, the ice cream runs, and the dreams of a future that felt just within reach. That future came a little too fast for my liking. I graduated a year ahead of Rose and landed a decent job. I was thrilled to be building a life for us, but it meant long hours and missed date nights. I convinced myself that it was all for the best. Once you graduate, we'll be unstoppable, I often said, and Rose would smile, her eyes sparkling with hope. But then, as she stepped into her dream job, something shifted. She started spending more time at the office, less with me. My job consumed my days, while hers ignited her evenings. I should have seen the signs, but I was too busy convincing myself that everything was fine. One evening, I returned home to find her phone buzzing incessantly on the kitchen counter. My heart raced as I picked it up, seeing a text from someone named Bambi. My stomach twisted, a sickening feeling creeping in as I read the words. Can't wait to see you tonight. I miss you. I felt the world tilt beneath me. Rose? I called, my voice trembling. No answer. I searched the house, my heart pounding louder than the ticking clock on the wall. I found her in the bedroom, her laughter ringing out like a cruel melody. Rose! I shouted, and she turned, her smile fading. The air felt thick as I held up her phone. The betrayal hung between us, sharp and unyielding. It's not what you think, she said, desperation twisting her voice. Then what is it? I spat back, the hurt clawing at my insides. You're with him, aren't you? Bambi is just a friend? I interrupted, throwing the phone onto the bed, the sound echoing like a gunshot. Friends don't say they miss each other. The silence that followed was deafening. Rose opened her mouth to say something, but I turned away, feeling my heart fracture. Days turned into a blur of arguments and tears. The love story I had once cherished was crumbling, and no matter how hard I tried to hold on, it slipped through my fingers like sand. Finally, I left, heartbroken and angry, but also strangely relieved. It took time to recover, and though I met someone new, Maya, she filled the void with kindness and laughter. We traveled together, exploring new places, and I found myself smiling again. I thought I had moved on. Then, one fateful afternoon, I received a message from a mutual friend. Did you hear about Rose? She's pregnant. Bambi's marrying her. A jolt of emotions hit me hard. I felt a pang of sympathy for her, but it was quickly followed by a wave of anger. She had chosen him, hadn't she? I pushed the thought aside as Maya and I continued our lives. We moved in together, and I proposed to her on a beach under a sky full of stars. Of course, yes, she had squealed, her eyes glimmering with excitement as she hugged me tightly. Our wedding was a dream, a beautiful affair at a luxurious resort. The waves crashed gently against the shore, and I felt like the luckiest man alive. But even as I stood there, celebrating the life I had built, the shadow of Rose lingered. Her face flashed in my mind, a reminder of a past I thought I had buried. We traveled through Europe on our honeymoon, laughing and exploring, capturing memories in every city. I felt alive, but there was always that nagging thought. What was Rose doing? A few years passed. Maya and I thrived, blessed with a beautiful home and 2 kids who filled our lives with joy. We were living the dreams we once shared, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Then one day, a phone call shattered my peace. "Hey, it's me. It's about Rose," my friend said, his voice low. "You should know. Bambi's been hitting her. He left her for someone else, and she's struggling." I felt the world tilt again. "What? How do you know this?" "I've been in touch with her. She's alone, raising their son. It's a mess. She needs help." I ran my fingers through my hair, the weight of it all crashing down on me. Why would he do that? She didn't deserve this. People change, man. You know that. I did know that. I had seen it in myself, in Rose, and now in Bambi. The anger bubbled, but it was mixed with pity. Maya noticed something was off when I came home that evening. "You okay?" she asked, concern etched on her face. "Not really. It's about Rose. She's in a bad place. Bambi, he's not the man he pretended to be." Maya frowned, crossing her arms. "What are you going to do about it?" "I don't know. I can't just ignore it." She sighed, pushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "You owe her nothing. You've built a life for yourself, for us. Focus on that." Her words echoed in my mind as I lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling. I thought of Rose, of how she used to laugh, how her eyes sparkled when she talked about her dreams. And now, she was trapped, raising a child alone, left behind by the man she thought loved her. The next day, I found myself standing outside her apartment, the uneasy feeling in my stomach intensifying. I knocked, feeling like an intruder, but I couldn't turn back now. The door creaked open, and there she stood, tired, worn, but still beautiful in a way that tugged at my heart. "What are you doing here?" she asked, surprise coloring her voice. "I heard about Bambi." I managed, my throat dry. I wanted to see how you're doing." Her expression softened, and I stepped inside, the familiar scent of her home wrapping around me like a hug. "It's been hard," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I can't believe he did that to you," I said, anger rising inside me. She looked down, her hands fidgeting with a loose thread on her sweater. "I thought he loved me. I thought I could make it work." "Rose, you deserve better than this," I said, my heart aching for her. "I'm sorry for how things ended between us." She looked up, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "You had every right to be angry. I messed up. I chose him." "Doesn't matter anymore," I said, stepping closer. "What matters is you and your son. You need help." "I don't want pity," she shot back, but there was a tremor in her voice. "This isn't pity. I want to help you, to be there for you. You're not alone anymore." She hesitated, the weight of her situation pressing down on her. "I don't know if I can ask you for that. You've built a life without me, and I want to share some of that life with you again. You deserve happiness, Rose." She met my gaze, her defenses slowly crumbling. "I don't know how to start over." "Start with me," I said softly, the words hanging between us like a promise. "Let's figure this out together." The tension in the room began to dissolve, and I could see a flicker of hope in her eyes. "I don't want to ruin your life again," she murmured. "Trust me, I've been through worse." "We both have." She nodded slowly, a tear escaping down her cheek. "I don't know if I can forgive myself." "You don't have to forgive yourself just yet. Just let me help." As we talked, the weight of the past slowly began to lift, and I realized that beneath the pain, we still shared a bond. A bond that could heal, even if it took time. When I left that day, I felt lighter, as if I had finally opened a door that had long been closed. I didn't know what the future held for us, but I was determined to be there for her, to help her find a way back to the dreams we once shared. And in the quiet moments, as I returned to my life with Maya and our kids, I found myself hoping that Rose would find her way back too. Not just to happiness, but to me as my old girlfriend. We all deserve a second chance, don't we?